Thank you, Patrick. Hi, Despina here. Addict and emotional sobriety survivor. Judith Ragir is our guest today. She's been doing a series on Buddhism and the 12 steps. Guess we are on step 12 today. No,
No,
step 11. Step 11. And Judith has been inspirational for me, being able to really translate the 12 steps using Buddhism thought, because I've always struggled with that being a Buddhist. I was doing my own translating. She's widened it, made it make even more sense than I was able to come up with. And so I so enjoyed the series. Judith, I hope you come back and turn it over to you.
okay. Breathe deep. Let's just take 3 breaths so I can connect with my energy because I want this talk to come from the higher parts of myself. So some of you have been coming this past year and have been tracking my life here, which has been a really wild journey this year. I am now in Los Angeles. The Minnesota house is up on the market. I don't have much to do with that anymore. I'm still in Airbnbs and will be in my house that I bought probably in July. So what a year. And it has really encouraged me to deepen my third step of letting go and trusting the universe with my life, letting go of many, many anchors. What I say right at the moment is the only anchors I have. I'm still with my partner, thank God, and my spiritual life. Those are my anchors. All the other external anchors have been uprooted. So it makes my program very important to me and my daily life. My daily practice very, very significant. So that's what I'd like to talk about, the significance of spiritual life, and especially if you're uprooted. So we're going to talk about step 11 today. I'm going to read it. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood God, praying only for the knowledge of God's will for us and the power to carry that out. So I'm going to do today a little bit differently. What I'd like to do is present something, have a discussion, present, have a discussion, present, which will be a little bit harder for the recordings, but someone will figure that out. Because this is the way I want to get feedback and I want to teach from what you're asking me today. So meditation, prayer and meditation are a big part of our daily life as a program person. And I'm a meditation teacher, so now's the time to ask your questions about meditation. I've been teaching meditation formally for 30 years and 40 years informally. So that's why I wanted to do this back and forth. But as I read, I was just going to start right away with the meditation. So I'm hoping we're going to do 3 short meditations. So prepare yourself. But then I realized, I should talk a little bit about how you interpret this step from a Buddhist view, because there's a lot about God in here. So, that's what we're going to do first. So the 2 important things for me is that there's conscious contact with something larger than yourself, or larger than your ego, or larger than your desire system. That's one. You're in touch consciously with something that has a huge perspective, and it's not just your own desire. So that's one part. And the other part is power, the power to carry that out. So let's talk a little bit about each side. And it's a little bit about what is the interpretation of thy will be done in Buddhism. It's all over our literature, but what the heck does that mean if you don't have a anthropomorphized God? If your God is the energy of the universe, if your God is the natural laws of life, if you have a very broad sense of the workings of the world as your God, the mystery, the awe of the workings of the world. So in Buddhism, you have a duality and you have a non-duality. These are the duals, the opposites. And they actually, because of language, because of our brain works in opposites. Similar to a computer, you either have a 1 or you have a 2. And that's how it goes, back and forth, back and forth. And the combination makes language, makes our belief systems. And in Buddhism, they talk about the absolute truth and the relative truth. And that's still a duality. And Buddhism is all about the dynamic working of the whole work. The whole functioning of the universe is the dynamic functioning. And it works as a whole, it works as a one. And within the one, it has two sides, the yin and the yang. But they're so dynamically together that they become one functioning. So, but I'd like, just for language and just for teaching, the absolute truth is that total dynamic functioning. It's that everything is working together and nothing is left out of that functioning. And the relative truth is that you separate those two and you have good and bad, right and wrong, God and ordinary, sacred and profane, all these opposites. So one way about opening my mind is learning how to see the oneness right in the opposite and not pitting one opposite to the other opposite, that they actually dynamically function together. So in Buddhism, we have what we call unbounded openness, emptiness, interconnection. Those are descriptions of the absolute truth. I'll just say too, I don't read the chat when I'm talking, so you'll just have to wait for question and answer because I can't speak and look at the chat. All right, so the absolute truth is this huge perspective. Everything is functioning exactly as it should. And also it can be beyond form, beyond time, beyond a sense of being. Sometimes when you're meditating, you can touch in to this very, very huge perspective. It's startling, actually, if you touch into it. The other side is the concrete, mundane, what do they call it? Not mundane, manifest. In manifest reality, we have laws. And you could say they're, I'm sorry, my brain isn't working too well. They're like the scientific laws or quantum physics. That's what I was looking for. You could say they're quantum physics. And also they're just the laws of nature, of concrete manifest reality. And the way that Buddhists talk about that is cause and effect. That everything that manifests has a cause behind it. And everything in the future will be caused by what you do today. So this is where the discernment comes in. What I want from my spiritual life is real clarity about the consequences of my behavior. So this is really step 4, 4 through 9, helps bring us clarity about what am I doing? What are my habit patterns that are producing suffering in my life? The more clear we can get about that, the more we can interrupt those patterns and start producing wholesome, good results. But also meditation and pausing and self-examination also is able to bring you clarity. Sometimes I sit down to meditate and I am just rocking and reeling and going round and round, and I need to calm my mind before a larger perspective, things that are beyond myself are able to, I can hear them because my mind is settled and more clear. Not perfectly clear, but more clear. So through meditation, we can get a clarity about what do we do next. This is thy will be done in Buddhism. Through my own clarity of cause and effect, my own clarity about the consequences of my behavior, I am able to choose. So choicefulness is very much a part of Buddhist understanding. It's different, though, than I am powerless. I mean, in a way, we are not choiceful if we're in our addiction, right? Our choice has gone out the window. So when you stop your addiction and you start to work the steps, you begin to be able to have choice. Now, where do you get the power? That's the other. So we have choicefulness. What did I call that originally? Conscious contact, and then the power to carry that out. And I have found that I have learned how to direct my energy through meditation and mindfulness. It strengthens my ability to place my mind. There actually is a word in Japanese called joriki, which is this concentrated power of a single-minded focus in your mind. And with that kind of concentration or single-mindedness or focus, there's a lot of power there. For example, if my mind is somewhat more settled, if I'm working my life, my daily 24-hour life mindfully, if I'm present, I can notice the moment of choice. This moment is very, very important. And if you're not present, if you're not mindful, if your mind isn't settled, you don't notice it. It passes by. But if you've practiced this focused mind, you can see the moment of choice. And in the moment of choice, you have a choice. You can interrupt your pattern and choose to do something that will have better consequences. This is cause and effect, or karma, in Buddhism. So in absolute reality, we don't even really think about karmic consequences because we're in a spacious, open place, in a Buddha land. But in manifest reality, part of spirituality is working with your karma. And the way you do that is by having a focused and clear mind. And the way you get that is through meditation practice. Meditation is a practice. It's like an athlete. It's like if you want to be strong physically, you have to go to the gym and do reps, I've been told. But I have done, I used to be a dancer, so I know what dancing every single day feels like, right? So with meditation, you have to do your reps. You have to practice getting your mind to settle down and being able to have a unified mind. that your mind and body are unified, that your emotions are included, and you have a kind of focus or directness in your approach to life. So that's my understanding of thy will be done, which is I want to find clarity through self-evaluation and clarity through settling my mind. And when I settle my mind and practice, I can strengthen my power to choose. And I'll know when the choice is because I'm mindfully watching the moments. And when there's a moment where, I don't want to do that again, I know what happens when I do that, then I have a place, a discernment of change. And this all happens in moment-to-moment experience or in the 24-hour period. Buddhism doesn't think too much about anything but the present moment. And the present moment sometimes is large as the 24 hours. And let me do one other thing, and then I'm going to take questions, because this is really important. I've talked about this before. If you haven't been to the other lectures, please look up, because I've talked quite a bit about the understanding of God in non-theistic terms. The last thing I want to talk about in the introduction is the rhythm of the day. So spirituality has a rhythm, a daily rhythm. And you can find it in the big book on page 85 through 88. What do you do in the morning? What do you do throughout the day? And what do you do at the evening? And bless whoever wrote the big book, because that is the rhythm of a spiritual life in all religions. So that's really important. Am I stressing it enough? It's important to have a spiritual rhythm to your day, because the day is all you have. I learned about this rhythm very deeply and very clearly because I've had quite a bit of monastic practice in Zen. And when you go to a Zen monastery, or I think a Buddhist monastery of any kind, and even a Christian monastery, they have a schedule of the day. It includes prayer and meditation. It includes work. It includes meals and prayers for the meal. It includes rest. It includes how do you end the day and how do you go to sleep. And that was very important to me when I realized how important this rhythm is. And it's in the big book, you guys. The same rhythm is in the big book. And I just want to say about Muslims, I don't know that much about their religion, but I know, I think I know that 5 times a day, the whole community puts down their prayer carpet and prays, bows and prays. Can you imagine 5 times a day, the whole community, work stops, everything stops. The bells start tolling and everybody prays. I just think, wow, that is the rhythm. That is the rhythm of living one day at a time, of turning things over and trusting God. Okay, so now what I'd like to do is get into actually meditating. They won't be long, 5 or 10 minute meditations. I'd like to do 3 of them if we have the time, but we'll see. I know the questions I think are important too. So I mentioned that you have to meditate like an athlete practices. You do it over and over, and that you build up your ability to unify your mind. I think if you have high expectations for your meditation, I can almost guarantee you'll stop meditating. So don't have any expectation. Don't think, oh, I'll meditate and I should be calm, or I'll meditate and I won't think. If you do that, for sure, you're going to say, I suck at this and I'm not even going to try. So that actually is not what meditation is. We're not trying to get to a certain state, or we're not trying to be peaceful. Our encouragement is to be who we actually are in this moment. And both absolute and relative. Both I'm a Buddha and a child of God, or however you language it. I'm a being in this world and a mystery and awe. My heart is pumping, my brain is working, my digestion functions. I'm a piece of creative work. You can get in touch with that when you meditate. And also, you'll get in touch with what you're feeling. So sometimes I meditate, and what I get in touch with is I'm really, really angry. And maybe after the bell goes, I'm still angry. But that's still a good meditation because you got clarity about where you're actually at. And sometimes if I notice I'm angry, I have tools now. I have a million different ways of meditating. Sometimes I can actually calm it down, but sometimes not. So please just do it without expectation. In the beginning, when you're just starting, you usually have a concentration object. So sometimes that's the body, sometimes it's the breath, sometimes it's sound, sometimes it's a mantra. I use the slogan sometimes, like let go and let God, over and over, or keep it simple, or relax and take it easy. I sometimes use the slogans as a mantra, and some of you might have been given a mantra. I don't know. And I use mantras that are generally given in Buddhism. I especially use a mantra or a mala. I don't have one. I sometimes have one on my hand. A mala are those beads. And the thing that's good about a mala, like even with your breath, each breath you move a bead, or each time I say let go and let God, I move a bead. That gives you a physical anchor for your mind that I'm moving the bead. I'm moving the bead. I'm moving the bead. I'm saying the word. I'm saying the word. I'm saying the word. So sometimes these physical tools can help you meditate. The other thing I'd like to say about, I watch the tone of my meditation when I'm meditating. There's a little metta person who's also observing the meditation. And that person is observing, am I too much energy? Am I anxious? Is my mind swirling? Or the opposite, is this too flaccid? Is this too tired? Am I dreaming? Am I flabby? My mind is like, ooh. So I watch that. Where am I? Where's the tone of my mind? And then, when you're a musician, you have a soundboard where you can bring this down and bring this up and bring this down a little more tenor. That's kind of what I do. I check in once in a while. How's my tone? If I'm too anxious, I try to do things that soften me, relaxes me, like I might relax on my exhales. I might sing something to relax me. If I'm too flaccid, I stimulate my meditation. And that might be using a mantra or asking a question or asking a question of the powers that be. You might think about a koan in Zen, something that will stimulate your energy. So I'm doing this as I'm going through my meditation. I'm watching what is the tone of my mindfulness, and is there anything I can do to make it so I'm in the moment, I'm soft and loving, and I'm available for the moment. I'm not trying to push it around and be something it's not, or have a better meditation than it is, or I have to find peace. None of that pushing around. Just being with what's exactly happening with some clarity would be a nice way to work on your meditations. Okay. So we're going to go into a short meditation now. This will just be what I call a pretty standard meditation about trying to find yourself in the present moment. So everybody find a way that you want to do this. I hope you're open-minded and willing to try some meditation. And it is a very important step. It's in our recovery. It can't be ignored. Prayer and meditation. All right. So finding yourself in yourself, just taking a pause so that you can catch up with yourself. And classically, I use my breath. I just tune in. I don't push my breath around. I just say, can I feel myself breathing? And I often relax on my exhales. Can I feel my body? How am I sitting? What's touching the ground? Can I feel the connection between me and the ground or the chair or the floor? I'm connected to earth somehow. What am I feeling? Do I have some stuff from yesterday? Or I know some of you are in the evening. Do I have things from the day? Happy, angry, sad, lonely, tired. What am I feeling right now? Can I receive it? What I'm actually feeling? And usually with emotions, I add and hold it with kindness or hold it with compassion. And I sometimes use my breath to hold what I'm feeling with a kindness. The emotions are like the music of our life, up and down and all around. So I don't want to suppress my emotions. I just want to feel them like a melody, the melody of being a human being. And as much as possible, as much as I'm able, I would like my mind to be unified with the present moment. Can my mind stay with one of these things, the breath, the sound in the room, how I'm feeling in my body, the fact that I'm alive? Come back, sweet mind, and enter the present moment. It's not so good to scold your mind. The mind wants to think. And if you're a beginning meditator, the mind is uncomfortable with not thinking. But we can teach the mind how to go on a bit of a vacation. We can familiarize the mind with letting go of thought. So just watch your thoughts come and go. And if you can, let them go. And you let them go and you return to the object of your choice. Can you be available to the present moment, whatever it is? Part of the process of meditating is that your mind goes off. You notice that it's thinking about something in the past and the future, and you invite your mind back with a kind, loving tone. And this is the process over and over and over. Even for mature meditators, there's still some aspect of inviting the mind back to the present moment. And to do it without being mean. And if you can't do that, just accept it. Just say, well, I'm keeping my body still, and that's enough. I'm silent, I'm not talking, and that's enough. And if I keep at it, my mind will learn how to let go. And I usually end my meditation with an intention or an alignment with what I want. And just an easy one is, I want my recovery to be successful. I want to be in alignment with my best effort today. And you can open up and come back to the Zoom room. Okay, so we're going to do, sometimes it's called a metta. Metta means kindness, friendliness, meditation now. And this has been, I wish I had gotten this early in my program because I was in so much pain. I couldn't just sit in my pain. I wish I had learned this earlier, and then until very recently didn't teach this as a form. This is mainly coming from Vipassana and Tibetan teaching, and now I use it all the time, every day. And I think strongly, if you're an addict, if you're in recovery, if you're a trauma survivor, I would encourage you to do loving kindness meditation every day of your life from here until you die. Over and over and over. Sending love to yourself, gentleness, kindness to yourself, to your loved ones, to the people who abused you, to everybody. This is the horrible human condition, but there's also a beautiful human condition. And that beautiful human condition is when your heart is open. And many people in program have that. And many spiritual people have an open heart. You know, they say of the Dalai Lama, they say that when you're with the Dalai Lama, he will stop for all the humans in his path. He'll connect with them with their heart and send them love. Like the maids, like if he's in a hotel, he'll stop and connect with the people who are serving him and say love. That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. May we all do that. May we all have enough room in our head to care about other people. And if you're a egomaniac with an inferiority complex, like I was, you don't have any room for anybody else. So keep going, because pretty soon there'll be room in your head and in your heart for other people. Okay, let's do, I want to see how much time we have. Let's do about a 10-minute loving kindness meditation. And I was going to do a third one, but you can get it on Insight Timer. I think it's called Meditation for Recovery. So you can search it and maybe find the third thing I was going to do. The third thing, that meditation for recovery, is a little bit about how to do your evening inventory while you're meditating. Okay, so let's do this one. Find yourself in a place you'd like to be to meditate. And breathe. Take a moment to breathe. Take a moment to connect with the good things in your life, if you have any. Sometimes I try to find kindness. Now, my life has been very harsh, certainly my early life. So sometimes it's hard for me to find kindness. But there was one person in my early childhood who was very, very kind. And when I'm trying to cultivate a feeling of kindness, I sometimes go to her and say, what was that feeling like when I was with her? Or what is that feeling like when you pet your dog? Or what is that feeling like when you're sitting by a lake? Find a person or an image that has a sense of love or kindness there. And use that almost like a straw. Sip off that image and bring it into yourself. What does that feel like? What do these people feel like? And this is not sexuality. This is love, heart-centered love and kindness. Finding an image that you can build on. And now this body sensation of kindness, this smell of kindness, this taste, itty bitty taste maybe, or a huge taste it might be, this taste becomes your object of concentration. So now we're concentrating on gentleness, kindness, and heart qualities, breathing them in and breathing them out. Wrapping yourself, let's start with yourself, even though loving yourself is the hardest one. But just wrap yourself in this warm blanket of kindness. Or maybe it's a color like pink or green. And just let your whole body be in the color. Or maybe it's just a feeling tone of, could I be more gentle with myself? Now, I do it often with just the visual or the tone, but you can anchor it with words if you like. So may I be safe. May I be healthy. May I be fulfilled. May I know peace. And this is the type of prayer. We're using words, we're sending the energy, and we're sending the energy to ourselves. And we're doing this pretty fast, so you might stay here forever. But now let's go to people that are close to you, your intimates, your loved ones, your family members, if they're in that category, or a friend, and wrap them in this kindness, or the color, or the tone of gentleness, sending the energy to them. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be satisfied and fulfilled. May you live in peace. Now, in the big book, it says that we should pray for the difficult people in our life. That's kind of everywhere in the big book. So let's bring to mind a difficult person, a person you're mad at, a person that irritates you, and see if you can see through their story into their humanity. Didn't Longfellow say, behind every enemy are all these stories of what produced them? So see if you can connect a little bit with the humanness of the person that you hate, or the person that yucky you don't like. And you don't have to pray that they change, because they probably won't. You don't have to pray even that they have good things in their life, although that would be nice. One of the phrases is, just as I want to be happy, I'm pretty sure you want to be happy. So that's a phrase. But you can pray that their troubles diminish, that their understanding and growth occur, and that their misunderstanding of life diminishes. And this is called praying for the difficult people in your life. And it's the energy of forgiveness, of humanity, of understanding that they had causes that produced their confusion, to put it in a nice way. So sending them energy. And usually I return to myself. Did any anxiety get stimulated or unhappiness get stimulated? So I spend the last minute or two sending kindness to myself. A lot of the time for me, it's learning how to ground myself and learning how to appreciate the miracle of my body, my breathing, my energy, my life. How miraculous! May everyone, everywhere, find kindness somewhere in their life. May everyone, everywhere, find a measure of peace. May everyone, everywhere, have enough food. Leave a war zone find some stability in their life. Okay, you can come back to the room, the Zoom room. Thank you for staying, those of you who did.
Thank you.
And in a month, we're going to do the 12th step, and that's actually my last time in this series. It's been a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Judith. Can you take us out with your wonderful song?
Oh, okay, I will. May the merit of this penetrate into each and everything and all places, so that we and the world together may find freedom together.
Thank you so much.
Amen.
Thank you so much.